It's now time for Punted, a podcast discussing the very latest in all things racing, including tips, giveaways and laughs. Here's your hosts, Scott McKinnon and...
Hey guys, welcome back for another week of the Punted Podcast. Nath, we're lucky to be joined by now Group 1 winning jockey Kyle Wilson-Taylor.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Kyle, how are you?
Good boys, how are you?
Very
well. We're not bad. Very exciting for you, obviously, Kyle. Scotty just said before the podcast he was going to ask you his first question, which was going to be, has the money hit the bank account yet?
No, it isn't. It hasn't yet. It's obviously you got to wait for a swab to come back, so it's normally about a 2-3 week wait. But don't worry, it'll be. I can't wait for it. I just bought a new house, so I'm in need of the funds.
Yeah, for sure. And did you celebrate pretty big on the Saturday night afterwards?
Oh, it was pretty tame. We went out for dinner with Muncie and the stable staff, and I had to ride the next day at my Wollongbar, so. I only had a couple of beers. Only had a couple of beers. So I went home and, tried to get as much sleep as I could.
Yeah, and so did you just say before, I didn't hear, I was turning on the camera, but I think you said to Scotty you rode track work at Toowoomba this morning as well.
Yeah, Wollongbar.
Oh, Wollongbar this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, far
Yeah,
out.
it was Wollongbar. Yeah. So I've been doing a bit of work for Matt Dunn. Obviously, I ride track work every other day in Brisbane, so I just thought, Getting away from Brisbane one day a week and riding for somebody else is probably good, and Matt Dunn's somebody who's always supported me, and he wanted me to come down, and he was more than happy for me to do that. So I've been down there every Thursday riding gallops for him. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. Everything's come pretty quick for you, Kyle. Just got out of your time, first year riding as a senior now, and then you're a Group 1 jock. Doesn't happen to everyone, but it's happened to you.
Yeah. It's it's every jockey dreams of winning a Group 1, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do it. I've got some friends and whatnot that. They've been riding a lot longer than what I have, and they're very, very good riders that still haven't achieved that. So I'm very fortunate to be in the position I am.
Yeah, and I think in the post-race interview too, you said it was a good interview, I thought too, because you said like if you put your mind to something and you work hard, which you obviously have, you can sort of achieve what you want to achieve, and obviously that for you that was a Group 1 win.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I said, I said early in the day, I got an interview by Emma Friedman, and I said that I'm sure that it will happen one day, and if it happened today, that'd be great. Well, very lucky that it did happen on the day, and I've always had the belief that it would happen. No, I hoped it would happen also, but I work with the intention that maybe it might never happen, but I definitely have given myself every opportunity for it to happen, and like I said, I'm very grateful that it has.
Yeah, for sure.
As you say, you might never happen. Earlier on in your career, Kyle, you obviously had your trials and tribulations a bit, and you moved to Coss, and now you're flying. But in hindsight, you're bloody flying, really, compared to what you were.
Yeah. Like you said, I moved up to New South Wales from Victoria. Sorry, and got the apprenticeship started there, and it wasn't very smooth sailing, really. I got started and I had a winner on my first day, and then not long after that, I had I had a fall at Grafton. I broke my wrist, and that really shook up the confidence. And then I was involved in another race where I think 4 or 5 runners fell in front of me, and my confidence was just really, really shattered. And I nearly fell in a race at Moree, and this is all within the sort of first sort of 4 to 5 months of riding, and I actually pulled the pin on race riding. I actually gave it away for 9 months. So, and then I came back, and I had a lot of good friends that sort of they were jockeys. Ben Looker, naming one of them, Matty Paget, another. And Jake Hull. They were all very good to me, and they said I was wasting my talent, and I needed to sort of grow some balls and come back and get stuck into it. So I made I was concreting at the time, and I hated that.
I can't picture you
Yeah.
as a concreter.
I was gonna say, fucking concreter.
Don't worry, I was bloody a quarter. I was the size of the legs of the islanders I was working with, and I couldn't really keep up with them boys, but I tried. I think it was pretty funny to them, but yeah, look, I'm glad I come back to riding, and yeah.
So what sort of sparked the move to Queensland? Because I think when you came up here, I could be wrong, but I think your first ride or your first winner was a horse at the Sunny Coast called the Darling that we used to have. Is that right?
No, not really. It's so I was looking to go to Sydney.
Yeah.
That was the first point of call, and I wanted to go to Mark Noonan, but he had Tyler Schiller at the time.
Yeah.
And he didn't really feel that I was ready, and I was he was probably right, and I wasn't really racking up the winners. I was racking up the winners in the country, and so I was sort of, maybe I wasn't ready, but the winners sort of said, oh well, I've got to go and take advantage of the claim at the provincial level because I was running out of country wins. So I started going to the Gold Coast for Saturday, and it turned out that I had a Queensland manager that was Glenn Courtney, that made it sort of easy, and obviously he pushed me to keep coming up here. So I started riding at the Gold Coast, and then he said to me, oh, there's a bloke called Lindsay Hatch, he wants you to come and ride at Toowoomba. So I went there and rode a horse of his, and it headbutted me in the face and nearly knocked me out, and it was $1.60 favourite, and it got beat, and then the next week it got beat again, and but Lindsay, he wanted me to come up there and be his apprentice, so he would call me when I went back to Coffs Harbour. He goes, I want you to come, and and then I eventually just made the move. I went up there and on a 3-month loan, and then I thought, well, this is the right place for me. Everything sort of felt right, and that's where it got started. But that was, once I moved up, I'll come, and that was my first ride at the Sunshine Coast, the Darling, and Julie saluted.
Yeah, no, we've got a photo out at the farm, a little painting, and it's actually her, and it's you on it. It's on one of the walls out there. I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook or anything, but yeah, that's of her and you. So,
yeah.
And how did the association come with Palaisipan, going back to her, because she ran in the Stradbroke the race before, obviously winning the Tats Tiara, and I think you said post race in the interview that Paul Joyce did. You said watch out for her in the Tats Tiara, and obviously, yeah, you're spot on there. So how did you get on her, and what did you have much to do with her prior to her running in the Stradbroke and in the Tats Tiara?
No, not really. So what had happened was, obviously I ride track work most days for Chris Muntz, and he's been really good to me. He's been putting me on, and I'm a very hungry person, so I'm always trying to get on different horses. And I was going to ask him if I could ride Palaisipan. I remember early in the prep she trialled down in Sydney, but I didn't do it. I just let nature take its course, and I was booked on TikTok Queen to ride in the Stradbroke, and she had the weight of 51, and look, I was doing it because I won on her, and Tony's been so good to me. And then he said I could ride her in the Stradbroke, so I wanted to do the right thing by him, and I was really trying to get down to the weight. I give myself a good month and a bit. Well, Tony did. He let me know that I was right to ride her, and I was working really hard on my diet and training every day. And I said to my boss, my last boss, Kelly Schweeder, I said to him, oh, look, I'm struggling. He said, well, go tell Tony. He said, go tell him now that you can't ride the horse, and that you may, because he goes, you can't be getting off on the day. That's just right. The wrong. So he goes, go tell him. And I went and told him, and he was really good about it. And I didn't have a ride, and luckily my partner Ange picked up the ride on TikTok Queen, so that was good for her. And I didn't have a ride in the Stradbroke, so I was just happy for Ange. And then I was at the trials on the Tuesday, and the only horse that didn't have a rider was Palaisipan. And Glenn goes, I'll try to get on this horse. And then he got back to me an hour later and said, you're on. And, obviously she went bad in the Kingsford Smith prior, but she'd been galloped on and pulled a shoe. So she had a fair excuse there. And then that's sort of where it started.
Yeah, she got given the peach too, Kyle. You scored across, got the right run, and you were patient too. You didn't bump one out of the road. You just waited your time.
Yeah, it's crazy how it worked out. Obviously, I galloped on the Tuesday. I galloped on the Tuesday, and I was over the moon with her gallop. She's not a flash worker by any means, and she worked the house down, and I was so excited. And then the gates came out, and I was a bit deflated. She drew near enough to the widest alley, and but then I sort of looked at the race, and I didn't really do my head in doing any form or anything. I just said I'm going to be one out, one back. That was the position I wanted, and that's what I was going to get. And look, it's eerie. I'm normally quite nervous going into a big race, and the night before I said to Ange, I said, she said, I think this horse will go good, and I said, yeah, it'll win, mate. And I just that was, and that's all I said, and I just had a bit of a smirk on my face, and she said, like, smiled at me, and then that was it. We didn't talk about it, and then yeah, and then the rest is history, really.
Was Chris pretty confident going into the race as well?
Yeah, he was. He was. He after her work on Tuesday, he was very confident. But look, it's a Group 1, and no, I've only it was my 5th ride in one. So look, yeah.
How's Ange? Has she had enough of you talking about it yet, or is she?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I know she's had enough of watching the replay.
I was going to ask that next. How many times have you watched that replay?
Too many times. Too many times.
Did you get a fine for the salute?
Yeah, it was 800, but
that's all right.
Look, yeah, I was happy
change.
to pay that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And going back, you touched briefly on him, Lindsay Hatch. He's really
I was going to ask this question.
Yeah, he's really sort of paved the way for a lot of apprentices like Bailey Nordoff, and Ange was apprenticed to him at one stage too, wasn't she, Kyle?
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah. Look, Lindsay sort of got me. Lindsay was very good to me, but first and foremost, the bosses I had before Lindsay too, they got me going. Like Brett Dodson at Coffs Harbour,
sure.
he took me on, and he was very good to me, and I was there for like a lot of my early days as an apprentice, and then after I had the falls and whatnot, I come back riding. I was with Dwayne Schmidt. He was another person who played an instrumental role. He was very hard on me, and he's a very tough boss, but it was the right person at the right time. And then Lindsay was the same. Lindsay more, he was more or less, he had the firepower, and so you'd have 8 rides for him on a Saturday night in Toowoomba, and you might stuff up 2 or 3, but you might win on 3 of them, and that really helped your confidence, and you're on a better horse than most of them in the race in Toowoomba, so you're able to learn how to dodge and weave, and Toowoomba is a special place to myself, and I learned so much there, and under the guidance of Lindsay and his family, they were fantastic. I actually lived with them for a period of time, so no doubt Lindsay played a huge role, and like the rest of my bosses have.
Yeah, and you said you went to Murwillumbah this morning, so that's a Thursday morning it's Thursday Arvo now that we're recording, but what does the rest of your week sort of look like? Like on a Tuesday, Saturday, you're riding work, and if you're riding work, who are you sort of riding for in the Brisbane area?
Yeah, so I ride track work every day.
Yeah.
So I go Monday through to Saturday, and I obviously go to Kelly, who is my last boss, who's again, he was the right person at the right time for me when I came to town. He was he was and continues to be a great role model for me, and I ride work for him first, and then I go straight over to Tony Gollins, and then I go to Muncie's, and then I go to Barry Lockwood. So I do as many as they need me to do, and sometimes that can only be 2 or 3, or sometimes it could be a big morning of 6 or 7. But that's sort of my week, and then obviously over Thursday I've been going down to Matt Dunn's, and then obviously we're doing our jump outs and trials and races in between that. So there's not much rest time, but there's plenty of work happening.
Are you riding any more trials after races on Sunday, after what happened on Sunday, Kyle?
I think I might avoid that. Yeah, obviously I went down to Murwillumbah on the Sunday after winning the Tats Tiara, and I rode a 2-year-old that never had it happen to me before. She took fright at the crossing and thought she was a show jumper, and she leapt the inside fence, and I went flying over her head, and I went from the penthouse to the shithouse real quick.
So you ride 52 is your lightest weight you can ride, is that right?
Yeah, I can ride 52, but it's
A real
52 is a real,
sort of stretch, yeah.
Doing that for the Stradbroke, it was, like I hadn't ridden that weight for over 2.5 years, so it was a real gut buster to do that. But look, it's paid dividends now, but 53 comfortably, I still do it quite tough to ride 53, but that's a weight I can do week to week for the right horse, so.
Yeah.
for sure.
So do you do...
No, you're right.
So do you do any other sort of exercise outside of riding track work, or you wouldn't really have much time, would you?
No, I don't really have much time, but look, when I know I'm riding really light and whatnot, I'm definitely in the gym doing it properly and eating the right food. So, and obviously my diet probably diet's the most important thing, and I probably have Ange to thank for that because she's a fantastic cook, and she makes sure I'm well fed. That's for sure.
Sounds like wife material, Kyle.
Yeah, definitely.
And you just bought a big mansion too. Well, I don't know if it's a mansion, but the way you two are going, it probably would be.
Well, the way the prices are in Brisbane, let me tell you, it's no mansion. It's no mansion. No, it's a nice little house that we've got there, and I think we move into it Monday. So, exciting times. But it's a nice little pad.
Now for the spring, does Palaisipan kick on to the spring, or is she done
She's
now?
going to Japan, isn't
She's going to Japan, is she?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she's retired now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You thought they'd give her another go after winning a Group 1.
Yeah, and it's a shame there's no races for her because I went in there on the Monday morning. She's actually sick of me going to see her, to be honest. Every day since Group 1, bar this morning. She left the stables today, but every day since the Group 1, I've gone in and give her a cuddle, and she's bloody sick of me. But so she goes. I think she goes to Arrowfield to start, and she goes there for a bit, just to have her let down and whatnot. And then I'm sure she'll eventually go to Northern Farms in Japan.
Yeah, right. There you go. And Caloundra Cup this weekend, Kyle. You've got a couple of nice rides. We're the Punted Podcast. So, have you got any that you can sort of tip the listeners into for the weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I think Warning, he's a huge shout in the cup. He, I think he's an $8 or $9 chance, but personally, I think he should be favourite. He runs second in a Group 2, albeit over 2 miles last start. But look, he's a Group 1 winner. He's the best horse in the race, and he's no doubt the fittest horse in the race. So he'll be definitely hard to beat. That's for sure.
For sure. What about you? Have a few other rides. What are you riding the Wing Skinnies? The Group 3?
Robusto.
Swallows one, yeah. That'd be him with a chance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Without a doubt. His form he's been good. He's been consistent. And look, he's in the very famous colours of the Inghams, and they have some very good horses. And look, he's, like I said, he's very consistent. He'll make his own luck up on speed or just in behind him somewhere, and he's trained by the master Chris Waller, so I'm sure he's going to be thereabouts.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Kyle. Obviously, big congratulations for your first Group 1 win, and I'm sure there's many to follow. So thanks for coming on, mate.
Cheers, bro.
No, thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it.
I'll talk
Thanks,
to you.
mate. See ya.
See you, Sati.
Cheers. See you.